Okay, what's going on?
I hope you enjoy that intro track. We love it. Every time we hear it, we're just sort of vibing along to it. It's funky. I like it. But welcome to another Thursday night. Long time no see. 2 nights since Ads and I were on, and boy, what a day it's been. Thursday is always the day for a little bit of action, but this morning we well and truly got it across the crypto market. So tonight we're going to have a scan at obviously what happened with BTC this morning, and even more importantly, what happened with my favorite coin, FUSD, and the BTC pair as well. We're going to have a look at silver. Silver has been on a really, really great run the last couple of days, so we're going to dive into that and look at some areas of interest and where this thing may go. I'll have a look at a few alts. We've already got a few requests in there. We'll look at MCO, ERD. I personally want to look at metal and also what was the other coin I wanted to look at? Anyway, we'll get to it. There's a few coins here that we want to have a look at, and then obviously a couple of the FX pairs. But we're going to do a bit of a streamlined, quick view tonight. And I'll share with you a video that I shared inside the Discord today as well that you need to take 20 minutes to have a look at. When I go through my alt scans, you see me looking at this Binance altcoin scanner. We posted a video inside the Discord today, a 20-minute video of how I personally use this tool to make some pretty spastic gains on alts, and it's a little bit of a microscope and an X-ray into what's happening in these Binance altcoins. And then also tomorrow or over the course of the weekend, I'll be sharing with you my exact altcoin trading strategy. This strategy speaks for itself. 60-70% on Atom, Matic, RVN, like 20-30 coins that we charted over the last few months that have done very well. Some that haven't done very well, but the strategy behind that is what I personally use and have shared with our premium guys when we used to have the premium group, and I'll share that with you very openly in the next day or two. All right, Ads, let's get into it. XBT, BTC, what the hell happened this morning?
Well, interesting story. I got up a little bit earlier this morning and I actually took a photo of this chart, and it was around here-ish. And I was going to post an update this morning, Ty, and I took the photo about 8 o'clock this morning, nice and early, and I was about 5 or 10 minutes away from writing this update for the Discord, and it literally bet me to the punch. So I didn't end up getting.
You had
getting
that
to
posted in our channel at 8:03 and 32 seconds this morning.
Yeah. So I've got a channel behind the
missed it.
scenes. I've got a channel behind the scenes that I just post the chart, and then I work on what I'm going to write. And it got away from me, unfortunately. So but what I'm seeing with this, what I was looking at this morning, so what I was going to write this morning, I'll say now. What I was looking at this morning, I was just looking at this move on its own. So, irrespective of what's happened previously, I really drew my fibs from swing low to swing high, and I was really paying attention to the respected bounce or pullback off that 38.2 fib level. And we all know, if you look at fibs in bullish moves, not so much bullish markets, but bullish moves, that you most likely get the bounce off the 38.2 before a continuation up. So that really pointed in that direction for me this morning. And I was going to say that we should look for this break in this supply to see whether or not it's going to continue. And of course, that's what we got, and we got that run to the negative 27.2 off the back of that news that dropped late last night for the US guys. I think it was about 7 o'clock New York time it dropped, and early this morning for us. So right now what I'm seeing, Ty, is I'm seeing a little bit of a hold up at this negative 27 if we're looking at this 4-hour move exclusively. Some of our indicators are pretty topped. We've got the RSI on a double top there, and we've got some bearish divergence forming on the CCI. So looking at the two tops there with the two tops on the CCI. So it's a little bit tricky to say, it's going to continue 100% for sure from here. We might see a little bit of a minor movement back down to maybe 94.50 or even 9400 to really find some support there and continue. But if I had to pick some sort of level to look for in the 4-hour time frame for a further move in the upwards direction, I would probably say 96.50 is where that next pivot or the next major 4-hour pivot on the supply level is sitting there, Ty.
Yeah, I've got between 9674 is really the top of what I was looking for, as high as maybe 997 is the line that I have drawn out. But looking at how well my fib levels have been respected, the bounce that we had from that 9306 level, which for me is the 50 fib mark after a sort of a wick off or a rejection of that 9419, which is my 618. So we're headed up towards this 9579 level, which is my 78 fib, and then the top of that being the 88. To sort of my top mark is that 9674 level. So yeah, looking at the 4-hour, there is a little bit of weakness here now as well, but that doesn't mean a great deal when there's a lot of FOMO money and people looking to get into the market. But if you look at one thing that is a consideration for me, and admittedly, when I get caught up in the alts, I really just get very tunnel vision and laser focused in on the alts, and I'm only looking at BTC very briefly to give me an understanding of whether it's going to wreck all my alt position. So I don't pay a great deal of attention to it, more so on the FBTC pair. But I just posted a link there for you, ads in the Zoom. And now this is a very rough representation. I did this yesterday while I was in the office, and I forgot to post it. Yeah, sure you did, Tex. Whatever, I did. I honestly did, and I just forgot to share this. Now, it's a very, very rough and loose Wyckoff accumulation sort of schematic. You can go to unitytradinggroup.com/Wyckoff, where I break down accumulation and distribution as well. So the reason why it's a little bit rough is that and I'll annotate, like, this preliminary supply here is a little bit sort of rough, as is the selling climax and the automatic reaction that we had And these wicks are a little bit sort of rough, but looking at it, and I didn't spot this originally. Someone posted a chart in Discord, and I looked at it just kind of at a glance and went, "Whoa, hang on a second, that looks a little bit familiar." So I started looking at this, and then charted this up, and then I had this sign of strength, which lines up right at my fib level, which I just spoke about, which is at 9579. So I think if we can hold above this green level, which is my 61, and sorry, let me just get it together, Tex. Get it together, boy. So yeah, where we originally were there, and we bounced off to show that sort of this sign of strength level was my 50, that lower green at 9306, and then 9419. That 9419 to sort of let's say 945 is where I'd really like to see this hold overnight if possible. Which then could potentially go towards this markup phase up towards that 9.7 level, where if it is a true accumulation sort of schematic, then we could potentially see this run up towards that 10K level, which would be that sign of strength. And then potentially we might linger around there if it is a markup phase where we might find a little bit of a distribution there. Again, like what we see when we get towards that 10K level, very, very highly psychological level, where a lot of people tend to FOMO in or think that a break and close above is the ticket to the moon. So what better time to sort of distribute into those late buyers and fill that demand with this excess supply that we see when we're accumulating at these levels. It would sort of make sense. So so that's kind of what I'm seeing. Again, very rough and very loose. You can go to unitytradinggroup.com/Wyckoff if you want to learn a little bit more about that. But I kick myself because I see these after the fact or just before it happens, and I don't pay much of attention to it because I'm not really looking for it. But if you look at what Richard Wyckoff wrote and his theories behind this and the composite man theories and how you can spot these. I've spotted these on 5-minute charts when I'm scalping and shared these before this sign of strength and markup phases. So you really can spot these like these mini accumulation or these lengthened accumulation cycles like what we've seen here since the start or really the end of June, about a month accumulation sort of phase. So it's well worth knowing a little bit more about it. But you can see on my my chart there as well. On the 4-hour, we've got a really healthy MA sort of consolidation and move up as well. We've got our red being our 200, our yellow being our 100, and our 50. The 50 being the yellow and the brown being the 100 MAs are now consolidating and moving up. So from a moving average perspective, this is good. This looks healthy. So I'm not out of the ballpark as of yet in terms of this is it. But moving back up towards that 9.7 level or that 9.65 level could very much be on the cards because we look to the left at that structure and there's not a hell of a lot holding that back if we do continue up there. But we really want to see it sort of hold above this level and then potentially make a move up. So yeah, some good times here. And what has been just as good on the back of that is that a lot of these alts have held quite well. And even some have flourished in this. So the BTC dominance is lowering, but a lot of these alts are still having their moves and aren't as dramatically tied to BTC, where we see heavy dumps, the alts get smashed. We see heavy moves on BTC, the alts get smashed. So it's been good because it allows you, and as I said on Tuesday night, when you look at what Ray Dalio talks about between uncorrelated assets, whether they even be in the same asset class, it's good to be able to have confidence knowing that when you are trading certain altcoins or certain coins, that BTC is not going to have as dramatic impact on them if it does have a move up or down. So I'm really, really enjoying this market at the moment, and I hope you are too. If you're not, jump into the Discord, and you can always jump on a Zoom with Ads and I and have a chat about it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to shut the hell up. Ads, let's get into FUSD, my friend.
There's one more thing that I wanted to cover with BTC before we
By all means, go for it.
Before we move on.
Please do.
And it's on the weekly. Bear with me one sec while I bring the correct chart up. It's one of these. There we go.
Oh, and very quickly too. Sorry, just very quickly. We've got 3 spots left in our beta tester group for Steamroller Indicator, which is this one that you see here, our brilliant, gorgeous, beautiful Steamroller money maker money maker indicator. So we're giving away 20 spots. We were just capping it at 20 spots on Tuesday night. I think it filled up very, very quick, like to halfway within like 10, 15 minutes. And then we've had a few people come in ever since then. So if you do want beta tester access, this is the only time we are offering this before we refine the product and then come to our sort of final conclusion level. So if you want to go to the Discord, you can, unitytradinggroup.com, come into the Discord. There's a dedicated channel there, 3 spots left. And that is literally it. We're not allowing any more people in after that, as you were, ads.
So I just want to point this out to a lot of people on the weekly time frame. This is not financial advice. This is just an idea. So we've got this from the top at 20. We've had the second touch on the 24th of June, and then we've had our third touch on this trend line on the 1st of June, creating those 3 touches and the confirmation of that trend line existing. What I'm looking at right now is this move coming down and this sort of formation happening here. All right, so looking at something along the lines of that formation tie on the chart. So what we're looking for is, yes, we could see some more flurrying moves towards that 9, 8, 9, 10K mark around that weekly trend line. But do keep in mind that this major trend, this major downtrend is still very much in play, guys. So we need to just keep that in mind. Draw it up in your own chart. Let me know what you think. A lot of the indicators are pretty flatlining on the weekly time frame, including our own steamroller. So this could go in any direction on that longer term time frame. We could see these flurries on the 4 hour or the 1 day continue up for a little while, but that major move, that major play on the weekly could be, the knife in the coffin if we get too ahead of ourselves in terms of bullish sentiment. Within not only our Discord, but in terms of the entire market. So just keep that in mind.
Interesting, man. I hadn't looked at it at that perspective, and that's the beauty of many eyes looking at the market, isn't it? Everyone's sharing these different ideas. So that's a good one, man. I appreciate you sharing that.
No, absolutely. Anyway, getting on with it. I'll get the chart back to where it needs to be. ETH USD. So ETH USD, not surprising that it did follow BTC today, or did BTC follow ETH, bro?
It seemed like ETH I think ETH was slightly ahead this time.
Absolutely. And I did draw this TA up after the fact, I do admit that. But I was looking for some zones of, some form of retrace or some form of support where we're going to hold ETH USD. And honestly, it's in the same boat as really BTCs, but a little bit behind, if I should say that, where some of these indicators aren't doing the same sort of patterns that BTC are. But it's looking okay for ETH right now, where we've had that pullback to the 38.2, and we are coming back up to test the waters at that 23.6 fib mark. If we do get some volume over the course of tonight, when the US probably wakes up off the back of that news that dropped late last night for them. But we could see some more further movements to the upside. What I really want to see though is, to test the waters back up at that 271.6 fib level, where we've got that 000. And we need to make some form of higher high to really confirm this market, where we're going to, test at that negative 27 extension. Until that happens, Ty, I'm not really betting on any further moves. We could, see this come up and give us our double top scenario here. That would satisfy the indicators quite well if that scenario did play out. But I'm very, very closely watching ETH USD for that potential double top or break of that 271.50 level.
Very good. I don't really have anything else to add to that. That's pretty good. Admittedly, one of my top targets, if 242 broke, was around the 275 mark. If we did have a little sort of mini blow off top around to 281, is where I had some other levels drawn up as well. So yeah, we're at an interesting point for ETH USD, but that low 270 mark is going to be the first little hurdle there to see if we can break that sort of pre-existing top that we found this morning. So it's an interesting time because the weekends tend to bring lower volatility, but on the back of excited news and hype, the news we've seen fundamentally for BTC this week has been really, really great. You look at PayPal and the crypto offering that they had announced earlier this week as well, and then now a federal ruling in America is allowing banks to offer cryptocurrency as well, which was announced this morning, and potentially some of the catalysts, which I think is probably one of the most bullish pieces of fundamental news for BTC in quite a long time. So it's no real surprise that this had occurred on the back of that, which was really great to see. A lot of people are listening.
Having the US banks offer custodial services for for cryptocurrencies in general is pretty big news, allowing them to control half the keys, I guess, or some of the keys or private keys for the wallets that their clients are using to keep that money safe. So it's not surprising that this did happen, for ETH and BTC, and I think LTC it did happen also. I've just drawn in this level on ETH USD. You guys probably just saw me draw it straight in at the 272 level there. It would be very, very interesting if ETH came up and retested this level and of course broken over the top of it. So waiting for that to really confirm our market direction. But there's a little bit of resistance to come, like Ty did say. So I'm keeping it quite neutral right now, and just waiting and seeing what comes of this. If you're trading these markets, obviously on the longs and shorts or even spot, make sure you have your stops in the right spot, and account for both sides of the book. If I had to give any advice.
Yes, and I would also say, I had someone message me privately today as well. Don't get disgruntled by missing moves like this. Like, I think we've all fallen victim to wanting to revenge trade when we miss moves like this. You see everybody sort of, and this goes back briefly to one of the reasons why Ads and I, we share our charts, but we're not really ones to sort of boast about getting moves or showing numbers and things like that, because I remember when I was a trader and I see all these people saying, killed it, doubled my account, made X amount of money or whatever it is. Like, a long time ago, I used to look at that and go like, fuck, like it would really bum me out and ruin my entire day because you missed a move. Don't let it affect you. There were so many times where, like I said, I wasn't in this trade this morning. Who cares? Like, it does not matter whatsoever, because there's another trade that will come, and then another, and then another, and another, and another, and another. So don't get disgruntled moving this and make silly decisions based on the fact that you missed whatever it is that you could have made. I just wanted to throw that out there very quickly. There's always another trade. Let it come to you, settle, reassess, and trade the next one.
Absolutely. Fantastic advice.
Cool. All right, let's have a look at silver, a couple of FX pairs, and I'm going to dive into altcoins, and then we are getting out of here.
All right, so starting off nice and with the USD, the US dollar currency index, the DXY is something that we always obviously recommend you look at before jumping into any of these majors. And obviously anything we say during this update is not financial advice. But we've been really looking at this level of demand for a while now, and you've probably seen it in a lot of my charts, either on a Tuesday, Thursday night, or especially in the Discord as well. And really last time when we were looking at it, we were at the top of this, and I wasn't really too enthused with some of the bounces or some of the respected candles that we had off this level. And really that sentiment walked across the entire Discord, and everyone was really in agreement that I saw. But we have eventually moved through this level of demand, off the back of the growing economic crisis here and overseas, of course. Moving down now, the next solid level that I can see on the DXY would be the 94.65 level, which goes back a little while. Goes back to roughly the 28th or 27th of September 2018, and where we can see that respected level here that occurred on roughly the 9th of March this year as well. So we're coming back down to test the waters again at this level. And could we see a double bottom scenario here, Ty? It remains to be seen. We have to wait and see what the remainder of this trading week brings. But look, I don't think we'll see, honestly, because we've had such a slippage in this market, I don't think we'll see that occur pretty much straight away. We might have to wait until start of next week to see this level tested again, or even we might have a flurry back up before we test the waters back down here again. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for the DXY. So keep that on your radar. Obviously, chart it yourself and come to your own conclusion on that. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing. If I do move across to silver, and I had to change my chart, honestly, I was using FXCM for silver. I had to change to Awanda because it did have more data to go off. This level of supply, and bear with me while I zoom out to try and find where it started. Bear with me, it's still going. This is from 2013, this level of supply. So this is the type of level we're at now on silver, teetering around that $23 mark for this asset class now. Look, it's you could probably see why it's hard for me to say I expect more upside potential on silver when we've got the fairly evident blow off top sort of scenario we see with some of these indicators. But honestly, off the back of this growing economic situation that we're finding ourselves in, and I speak about this nearly every time we do the market update. I'm sorry if this is a broken record here, but honestly, a lot of this money is flowing into these safe haven sort of areas, being silver, gold, and a lot of other bits and pieces too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do smash through this level here and continue up. If we zoom out onto the daily, we're still seeing the same sort of scenarios play out. If we're talking about some of our indicators, obviously steamroller flipping over to the daily, it's giving us a massive overbought level, as are the CCI and RSI. So it's going to be an interesting play for the end of the week and the start of next. It wouldn't surprise me if we do have some cooling off to do with a lot of these, like being silver and gold, for example, where if we come down test the waters of 23.38, which we have obviously on the back of this. But it does need a little bit of that cooling off period that I did mention. So if you're trading silver, if you're trading gold, and you're on the right side of the trade, I commend you. Fantastic work. But honestly, have your stops in the right spot and plan for these pullbacks to happen, because honestly, the market needs it. The market does need it. So yeah, if I had to put my 2 cents in, that's what it would be. Moving on though, I know AUD USD has been on a tear lately with that drop with the DXY. Not something I trade actively though, as a lot of the guys in the Discord know. But in the same boat where the DXY has been relentlessly moving down, slipping down towards those demand levels, and that March low that we saw earlier this year. So if we do get some sort of flurry on that DXY where we did have those bottoming out indicators, we should see some of these pairs at least come down to even some Fibonacci levels if you were to draw them in, or even so our mid-range or mid-term levels of demand there that line up pretty nicely. And if I flick over to the last one that we'll look at in terms of the Forex update, it is Euro. And Euro's in exactly the same boat. I'm looking at this formation here and I'm looking and seeing if this could be a double top scenario. Look, it's not likely looking at what we're seeing right now. We could see some form of pullback before a move upwards, and that would really confirm my bias on the DXY as well. But that's all I had to say. Honestly, if you're in these trades and you're on the right side of them, I commend you. Absolutely fantastic work. Keep your stops in the right place, and do expect some sort of pullbacks on these currencies, because they do need it, Ty.
Heck yeah, good advice.
Right now though, I'll switch over to our waiting, and Ty can share his screen.
Thanks, sir.
Go for it, bro.
Cool bananas. All right, let's get into this. I'm just going to share a few alts with you tonight, a couple that have been requested. So I'm going to go through the ones that I quickly have seen some. Ooh, ARC BTC. When did we set that? That must have been ages ago. So that was just our little bot giving us some things. Phew. You know, I'm not even going to chart this because ARC is like my nemesis. I'm not even gonna waste any time on that. All right, let's have a quick look. What were the coins I was looking at today? One of them was metal, BTC. And then I'm quickly just going to bring up another one. I charted something else today, and someone else. Yes, it was cool. All right, let's have a look at metal BTC. We charted this earlier today, and it's done just under 5% since we charted it. So the reason why I charted it, for starters, is I was just doing a little bit of a scan, and saw that a lot of the timeframes are aligning. This is the Trading Room Binance scanner. The video that I posted today is a 20-minute masterclass from moi on how I use this. So looking quite good on the price action scanner. And then more importantly, this is where it was starting to look quite healthy. So over the last 24 hours, 400 almost percent or 339% increase. While that sounds quite large, it still only does have a market cap of 22 million, but very much satisfying what I speak about in the video as to why I believe that metal is due for some upside moves. We'll have a look at the RSI scanner very quickly as well. So daily looking a little topped admittedly, but really that at a low market cap like that, that's where I also talk about this in the video, where I start to semi-ignore what the indicators are telling me, because a $22 million market cap is not going to take a great deal of money to push this higher. So let's have a look at this on the daily. You've probably seen this set up a million times. Probably looks very, very familiar. Something like this perhaps as well. This looks very Atom-esque, looks very ADA-esque. We've seen this a million times. So this level is what I'm looking for now, 4219 for a clean break to the upside. But looking at what our indicators are telling us, again, as I'm saying, on the daily, I'm semi-ignoring this. But what I'm paying more attention to is our MA cluster here. We've now broken above, closed, retested, and have now bounced off again this 200 MA. And then looking at the 2-day chart, we've got this MA cluster here of the 50 and the 100 MMA, which are just about to diverge and cross. And then we have got our 200 MA. Now, when you look at this on a 2-day, keeping in mind, this can take a little bit of time to play out. We're not looking at 4-hour or 5-minute charts here. So this is why I'm looking for this level to close and break above. Full transparency, I'm already in this trade, but I'm looking for potential upside moves if we continue up. So looking at our 2-day UTG Unimoku, so we're looking at our crypto settings here. We have some nice little upside potential, the 61.8 and the bottom of our Kumo acting as our first form of resistance, as we can still see here to the left as well, where we have rejected a few times after we've wicked up and come back down. And then looking at the 50 or this 5416 level, which if we go to the daily and our standard settings or our HE settings, they're looking pretty healthy. So what I had said there is if we do come back down and reject off here, I might look for this sort of 3885. I feel like this satisfies a potential edge to edge because it's closed and broken within the cloud. It's come back down, retested the bottom of the Kumo, and then we could be making its way back up. But looking at these standard settings, if you know Ichimoku, you know that looks pretty tidy. Bullish TK cross. Our Senku span A and B, or the top and bottom of our clouds, are now pointing upwards. We've got a Chiku breakout from the cloud, and price action is trending above the top of the Kumo. So the reason why the Kumo looks so large is because of these wicks to the upside. Looks very much like Raven, excuse me, Matic, that sort of up and dump sort of move. So that's why I pay a little bit more attention towards this 20 setting, which gives us this really nice top side target and edge to edge trade. So we may not get to the top of that Kumo, but I certainly think that if things keep going the way that they're going, we definitely might be in for a little bit of a move there. But if you want to play on the more cautious side, you can wait for a close and break above this 4219 and this downtrend line, which would still yield 20+%. It could be as even as conservative as that, and still look for some nice percentage gains. Now, I say this because I'm just sharing very transparent what I'm looking at. Do not jump into this coin unless you have traded it and it's satisfied your own trade plan. All right, the second one that we were looking at today was EOS that I shared, EOS BTC. Again, looking quite nice. The daily now not looking as healthy. We sort of got this inverse hammer, a little bit of selling pressure there as well. But what we are doing is we're sitting right on top of this 100 MA. And the reason why I think I had charted it, was it EOS BTC? It was EOS BTC. Was I think because of, you know why? Because I think I charted this on a different computer. Let me just bring up my, where did I chart that? That was on a 4 hour. Yeah, this is why. So looking at, and I'll share this at some point as well. I've shared it inside the Discord. The 4 hour candle looking a little bit healthier there than what the daily is, admittedly. But what we got here was this, and you know that this is my favorite play if you've been following along for a little bit. This sort of play, this descending wedge, bounce off the 50, a bounce off the 100 MA, and this sort of MA cluster. We're now trending above these MAs, all three MAs, and then potentially a little bit of room to move to the upside. That first target, of course, is going to be that 2865 level where we had this little bit of liquidity before we were rejected off there in the past as well. If you want to play conservatively, just due to this move here to the left, you could wait for a close and break above this trend line, or a close and break above, let's say, sort of 2824. But what sort of piques my interest a little bit is the fact that, oops. Is that we are trending above the Kumo here. Just have a little bit more of a look at that. Yeah, still trending above. So this level here, this 2781, is still going to provide us with a nice little bit of support should we continue to move up. The daily's looking a little bit rough, I'll admit. But looking at that on the daily, that's pretty crazy. We could have a move back up towards this 100 MA here. Have a quick look here. RSI's looking pretty good on the daily. From a TA standpoint, and the way in which this 4 hour is playing out, and just the fact that this has played out so many times before, it is why I'm liking EOS right now. That 6% might be a little bit sort of aggressive. You could still go for 2.82% there, but I certainly do think that we might get that. So that might be a little bit aggressive looking for that 6%. But I'm certainly gonna have a play here and see how we go. You win some, you lose some. I'm not afraid to be wrong. All right, let's have a look at a couple of other ones. ERD BTC is one that was requested. Oh. So that was a nice little play. I got in on that one because yet again, it was satisfying this descending structure and this move to the upside. So it hit my target bang on. So this is because we had sort of bounced off this trend line. We had trend line support. We had the 50 MA support, this descending sort of structure or this move. And then it was pretty clearly sort of ranging within this channel and then hit that 180 mark to a T. Looking at what we've got here now on the 4 hour, doesn't like super satisfy my W urge, but I do like that. That's quite nice. I'm going to have a look here at. It does get a little bit tricky to chart these low sat coins that have had these massive pump moves. Looking all right. Yes, it's like over the last, it is seeing like sort of semi-consistent declining volume, but for a 1,300 Bitcoin daily volume at 190 million market cap, is starting to get to that point in a little bit now where I would be far more cautious about trading this than what I was prior to. Still looking quite healthy in that sort of sense. Over the last 7 days, almost 12,000 BTC volume. So as I say in the video, it's showing consistent volume within the coin itself. The level obviously that I think we need to break, and looking at this range, this range high that we've had here, is of course going to be this 1.8 sat mark. Again, because it is such a low sat coin or low market cap coin, a low sat coin, and the fact that we have seen other, I want to say this might be one of those IEO coins that was on Binance. I didn't fundamentally look into it too much, and I should probably be looking at the coin market calendar there to see if there's any upcoming news. I'm sure there will be, and someone will ping me if there is.
I think there's but what I would at the end of the month for ERD, if I'm not wrong.
Let's have a look. See.
30th of July, roughly, I think.
Yeah. And there was an announcement on the 21st that ERD has partnered with SXP and will be integrated into this swipe platform, as they call it. So the coins will be ERD Elrond. Let's have a look and see what's upcoming for that. There we go. So the mainnet launch on the 30th of July, and then the DApp store on the 30th of September, and then the DeFi initiatives later on towards the end of the year. So the mainnet launch, obviously very significant for a coin like that. So it's still seeing nice daily volume, don't get me wrong. But if you did want to have a flutter, I would be careful, just purely because of this range here. Because we've hit here, we've rejected, we've come back up, we've wicked off this area, but it's not going to take much volume, I don't think, again, to sort of break that. So let's see if we potentially get something like that, we reject, and then we have another move to the upside there. But if we did break above here and hit that 200 sat mark, I definitely want to see it sort of sit above here before we potentially make another move up. But the fact that we've got this sort of this here, and got a nice, so we could do something like that as well. So that 180 sat mark is going to be the telling point there, man, for the person that has asked that, Paul. MCO. Oof, I haven't looked at this in ages. All right, let's have a look at this first. Oof, not looking great on the daily from our Binance scanner. Terrible volume. Admittedly, we've seen 255% decrease in the 24-hour volume. Still up on where we were 3 days ago and 7 days ago, but 86 BTC volume at $65 million market cap, quite a low liquidity index. It's not looking great, admittedly, for MCO. Especially on the daily. Yeah, if we did have a move up, that first MA there, that 100 MA is going to be proving to be tricky. Let's have a quick look here. So we could potentially have a little bounce if we this is looking very similar to XRP.
It is, isn't it? Before we had that wild run.
Yeah, and that sort of sporadic move to the upside where I said this is looking like garbage, and then it ran. Fuck. Doesn't really matter what way I look at this. It's not looking great, to be honest with you. But yeah, if we did have a move up, we could be in this little channel here where we've had this little channel. So, that's not a bad little channel. That's a 10% channel there where we can see that we've come back down, rejected, bounced back off, and have done that a couple of times. And there's a lot of coins, particularly like ZRX, OMG, that are finding nice little range levels to swing and trade, which I've been doing quite regularly as of late as well. So yeah, I would be looking back towards that sort of level. We are trending below this this little liquidity area here, but yeah, definitely around the 4170 is where I would be looking, or potentially slightly higher than that. Let's sort of say 417042. I would be looking at that area potentially for a bounce there. If not, there's not much. If we look here to the left, there's not much structure holding that back, so that's a little bit concerning there. If it broke below there, she could be in a little bit of free fall. And I do know you guys, Zoff, yeah, Jamie, I know you're looking at cheap MCO, and I know a number of you guys are staking it as well. So yeah, have a crack at that. I'll be looking around that sort of level. One more, and then I'm going to call it a night because I need to go and have some dinner, and I've got a new toy there behind me to play with as well.
We should have a look at the total alt market cap as well, bro.
For sure. TRX BTC looking all right across some of the RSIs at least. Not much volume coming into that, and declining volume over the last few days as well. But as we sort of see, when BTC starts to when it has these moves and it simmers and it finds its range and it starts to chill out a little bit, the money comes back into the alt. So when we look at things here now, you still want to be looking at what BTC is doing and obviously the dominance charts as well, and look to with the with BTC, it tends, and the alts, it tends to follow the same sort of pattern: low caps, mid caps, high caps. It goes pump, pump, pump. So you could certainly catch something on TRX. We had a move off this demand zone. I don't even remember the last time that I charted this, to be honest with you. So you can see how well those fib levels have been respected. Well, one thing that I do like about this now is that we have made a higher high from here, and very similar to like what we saw on FBTC, is that we are now testing this downtrend line. And on the daily, looking at some of our indicators, with the exception of Steamroller, our Stotch and our order book, our on balance volume is still pretty high. And you can see this little range here again, where we've sort of fluttered in between this area here. So we've got downtrend line support and this MA support, where we've rejected here now off this 200 MA. In almost a perfect rejection off the top of the Kumo, very, 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 very close. So yeah, we can see around this 23 level. I'm not going to move that. This 23 level, we do have a nice little bit of support. So for myself personally, I would be waiting to sort of see what we do around this sort of level myself personally. And then Yeah, between these sorts of levels is where I would be just sort of looking to see if we get a potential bounce from there. Maybe on the 4 hour, she might be looking a little bit more. Well, I think TRX is not really a coin that I trade often, to be honest. So I'm more of someone where I like to spot patterns or things playing out. But yeah, from this level here, looking similar to FBTC in the sense that we're testing this downtrend, and then we may have another move back up. I do want to have a look at FBTC actually. So you can sort of see the semi-similarities there, where we're now testing this downtrend before a potential move up. FBTC would really like to see this hold and close above this 27571 mark. That would be really, really nice to see that. A little bit of indecision on this daily candle at the moment. So again, it could still go either way, but yeah, a nice breakout for ETH. This was a really, really nice little range to trade for eons. It was really nice. All good. All right. What are we looking at, Ad? Sorry.
Total alt market cap. Total 2, I think.
For that total. Actually, we have this in here.
Just total 2.
Here we go. So yes, and definitely still some money. The increasing market cap, excluding BTC, is still headed up, which is good to see. I think that's why we're still seeing a lot of strength across a number of these alts here. Still looking pretty healthy in my opinion, and I think our BTC dominance. Did someone post that today? I can't quite.
Yeah, I think they did in the Discord.
Yeah, and it was still headed down. It was not looking great. So at the moment, I'm not paying a ton of attention to this. But yeah, it's good to sort of see some moves coming into altcoins. Hence the reason why I think a lot of them held up at the moment. I'm not betting against alts at this point. Sure, you know, your very low market caps are the ones that you probably want to stay away from at the moment, unless you're in very quick in and out sort of, or unless you're Fergs and just a freak who loves to chart these low caps and just make serious bank. Fergs and Jamie doing an amazing job inside the Discord over the last couple of days of answering questions and helping you guys out. They're the El Capitanos inside the Discord, so go over there and make yourselves known to them. A couple of stand-up gents, and we really appreciate their efforts inside the Discord. So that's it for Ads and I tonight. Metal. Another one that I am watching closely at the moment too is Theta. So you can go and have a little bit of a look at Theta and post your charts inside the community charts or the general channel. We'd love to see what you're seeing, and more hands make light work when it comes to trading. So thanks for joining us. We ran longer than what we thought. We thought we'd do half an hour tonight. We've done about an hour. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you inside the Discord. Keep your eyes out for the how I trade altcoins in the next couple of days. I'll be dropping that. You can see exactly how I trade, and you can start your own premium group after that, I'm sure, if you trade alt. So have a great night. Thanks for joining us, guys. Stay safe and trade well.
See you guys next week.
Bye.